If you go somewhere in your car and you need gas to get there, if there's no gas in your tank, you're not going to go anywhere in your car unless you find a service station. I want to talk first of all to those people who say there are too many churches everywhere. Every dadgum place you look is a church. Why don't they all just come together? That's like asking, no, I won't say that because it's not second service, never mind. But gasoline stations are places set up to give you what you need. But in order for you to fill up, you have to go where the gas is located. A lot of Christians ride on empty because they don't go to the place that will fill their tank. You will go to places that can give you food, give you clothes, provide you with furniture. But you'll wonder why you're not moving in your car. It's because you're not going to the place that's been provided to fill your tank. I have to start the message like this tonight because if you don't understand why we're here, you will come in not expecting what you're supposed to receive since you made it. If you don't understand why we're here, you will leave not knowing what to expect since you made it. When you go to the service station, there's not a whole lot of commotion going on because really it's not there for you, it's there for your car. You are filled up on a hamburger. It needs some premium octane 93. You are okay with a shake and some peanuts, but it needs some oil. It needs some gasoline. So you take it where it needs to be filled. God has provided a place for you tonight to go because you need to be filled. And sometimes people can't understand, why do you go so much? Because you're always on the go. And because you always use what you have. Have any of you in here noticed personally in your life how empty you've been lately? Have you kind of noticed that sometimes church is just not moving you? It could be because you're leaving before you're filled. It could be because you keep bringing people to church with you who don't understand that you need to be filled. So you need to get what God has for you. And sometimes when your ride is ready to pull off, it's because they came for an ice cream cone, but you needed some fuel. Because you haven't just been coming and leaving, you've been ministering to people. If you've ever prayed for somebody in the last 6 months of your life, you might even need a tune-up. If you've laid hands on anybody sick within the last year, you might need a tune-up. You might be out of alignment. If you seem to be going left when you want to be going right, you may have hit a curve, you may have had a flat, and you got the air back in, but you're out of balance. So God told us yesterday, I want you to build me a place so that I can come and fill you up. But I'm going to fill up my tabernacle. I want you to build me a place. He told Israel, I want you to build me a place. I want you to build me a place. It's okay if everybody else builds something, but you'll know why you built it. You need to know why you're here tonight. You need to understand, and sometimes what we're doing to people is sometimes we're disappointing them because we look like we're the church, but we're not giving church service. 1 Kings 6 chapter. 11th verse. Now again, I have to start from the beginning and I have to finish because I have to sometimes now teach new believers how to listen to a sermon versus how to have good church. How to understand that if you go to a full service station, they're going to check out everything. But self-serve, you're only going to go for what you think you need. If the car could talk, it would tell you, golly, man, you really ought to put some oil in me right now. You really need to check my tires right now. You really ought to give me just a little bit of transmission fluid right now. You really ought to check the power steering fluid. See, a full service station, which is kind of pretty much out of business now, full service stations, you would pull up like in the days of Andy Griffith and Goober would lean on the car. Can I help you? Want some gas? And then while you're getting the gas, he's doing the windshield, he's checking the oil, he's checking the tires. He's doing a whole lot because when you pulled into it, you were getting a full service alignment, a full service investigation because you were at a full service station. Well, we found out that it was taking too long to do full service. It was a lot faster because the average person only needed gas. So self-serve stations let you help yourself. It was cheaper, but you weren't giving the car everything it needed. And as a result, it caused us to be a lot more ignorant about the functionalities of our cars. The average person in here right now with a new car, you don't even know where your battery is. You've never seen it. I know I got a battery. I didn't say you didn't have one. I said you don't know where it is. Amen. The average person in here, if you had to check your own oil, you'd have to know how to read because, okay, because now they have places where you take your car. But self-serve means you just do what you need to do to get started. But you may not be able to do what you need to do to keep going. Give somebody a high five. Let's start tweeting tonight. Let's start sending somebody else. Do you have enough to get you started, or do you have enough to keep you going? Most of us sitting in this room right now, you have stalled out. That's not an insult. We're preaching. We're talking. We're in church now. In this room, you have stalled out. You have stalled out as a parent. You have stalled out as a person. You have stalled out as an adult. You have stalled out in a relationship. You have stalled out on your job. You have stalled out because you meant to go further, but you did not know how broken down you were because you were only dealing with the external things. And you needed more than gas. The average person right now, if you get in their car and you say, hey, what's that clicking noise? You'll turn up the radio and say, I don't hear that. Because that's how you fix noise. You turn up the radio. There was a time that we got full service at church. When you had to come and sit down and flip the hood up and don't do anything but allow God to work on you. But it took a couple of hours, and we now have to compete with technology. We have to compete with the newness of the world. And it's all right to do that, and you're going to hear me talk about that in a minute. That's all fine. That's all good. But we have so much competition now that most of us have learned how to do self-serve church. Full service, you got to wait till they finish before you pull off. Self-serve, you stop when you want to. Full service church, when you were a child and your mother brought you to church, that's the last time some of us in here got full service. That meant we went on time, we stayed all the way through it, we heard songs we didn't want to hear. We heard songs and sermons preached that we didn't want to preach. We heard people pray for. We saw folk get anointed. We saw people join church. We saw them do communion. We had communion. We went to baptism. We got the whole full service. But now we get self-serve. We come in late, get a little bit of sermon, want credit for it, and wonder why you can't save, you can't live abundantly, you can't fight the devil because you're not living a full service life as a Christian because you're wanting full service, but you're coming to a self-serve tank.